I didn't know where I ended and the air began. And I was just like, I was in rapture because it was a sensual massage. But the rule was you couldn't touch my yoni and you couldn't touch my nipple. So he wasn't going to stick it in. So I could actually relax. Maybe for the first time since the very first time I ever had sex at 18 or whatever. And I was the embodiment of bliss, like full on the embodiment of bliss. And I remember looking at him and he's like, what do you want? I go, tortilla chips. Allana Pratt here, intimacy expert. And I was getting a little bit heated over there on Instagram, so decided to do a longer video here. This is about what would my perfect romantic evening be? And just first, the word perfect. I don't think there's ever perfect. I think we're all perfectly imperfect. So maybe ideal, or it would suffice for tonight, I would say. So perfect for tonight. And it can always evolve and change into the next new perfect next week or tomorrow or what have you. For me, the perfect, ideal romantic evening, I would just like to spend the whole time in bed. I got to be honest. It has been a long ass time since I have truly felt rapture. And so setting the stage with foreplay all day long is always delicious. I remember ages ago when my son was quite young, I had a boyfriend and he would text me or he'd leave me little notes in my purse or leave me little voice messages, and he'd be very direct. 7:00, red dress, no underwear, be ready. I'm like, oh, are you serious? Yeah, he was it was so fun. And it wasn't always going out on the town. Sometimes it would be back porch once Gabriel's in bed. I shouldn't say this because Gabriel's probably going to watch this video one day. He's going to be like, gross, Mom. But whatever. Once he was in bed, back porch, jeans and a sweatshirt, no bra, beer. I don't know, just all these different fun directions that, for me anyways, turned me on. So foreplay throughout the day. I right now would love a warm house so I don't feel chilly if I'm naked. Incense, music, lamps on low with a nice scarf over the lamp so it's more mood lighting, or literally put in red light bulbs, because note to men and women and everyone, red light bulbs, you don't look like you have cellulite. You look really good. I learned this in S Factor dance class. I'm like, what's up with this red light? And I'm like, dang, we look good. So that's always fun. Red light bulbs. I remember once I was interviewing Susan Bratton, love her, on my podcast. I've interviewed her tons of times, but this time she was asking me about my pre-sex ritual. And I think we had somewhat similar pre-sex rituals, but when she started to tell me about her actual sex rituals that lasted for 3 hours, I was blown away. I actually started crying because she's like, he's not allowed to touch me. Not allowed to touch my yoni or my nipples for 20 minutes. And I'm like, what? You get to ask for that? It was a reality I didn't even know existed. You could have that? You could ask for that? Because for me, I just concluded wrongly that as soon as, a man started to touch me, it's just a matter of time before he stuck it in. I didn't have choice. It didn't, it was just going to happen. And I was always on guard, a little bit tense, just waiting for it to happen. And I never enjoyed foreplay. I never fully surrendered. I never felt like a goddess. I never opened all the way. I never experienced that 18-minute arousal period so I could get ready and juicy. I never experienced any of that. It was just kiss, stick it in, it's over. And I think I'm not terribly alone with a lot of women that don't ever really experience what it is to be fully ready and fully relaxed and fully safe and fully open. Because my God, if you start there, it gets a lot different. So, okay, so we finished the interview. So I had a little cry and I'm like, oh, I'm allowed to ask for that? She's like, you must. And I'm like, okay. So that night, the boyfriend I was dating at the time, I told him what was going on. He's like, my pleasure. And I'm like, oh, because I also had it that if I asked for that, I would be rejected, that I roll the eyes and like, fine, or like it would be a chore. And I'm still, I'll be really honest with you, still coming around to believe, like I can think it all day long, but like in my bones, believe that a man would actually have pleasure, be delighted, would love to just massage my body for 20 minutes. Like I mean, maybe like a masseuse, it's their job or something, but like I still feel guilty or something, or like, who am I to ask for that? So anyways, I'm still a work in progress. I'm a master coach and badass at what I do, but I'm also a hot mess from time to time. So anyways, I asked my boyfriend at the time to do this, and he was like, I'm in, game. I'm like, okay, thanks. So I surrendered. Like, and by the time 20 minutes was over, I didn't know where I ended and the air began. And I was just like, I was in rapture because it was a sensual massage. But the rule was you couldn't touch my yoni and you couldn't touch my nipple. So he wasn't going to stick it in. So I could actually relax. Maybe for the first time since the very first time I ever had sex at 18 or whatever. And I was the embodiment of bliss, like full on the embodiment of bliss. And I remember looking at him and he's like, what do you want? I go, tortilla chips. And he ran into the kitchen and he came back and he was like shoving my face. I'm like, just one at a time. And I'm like, and a beer, I want a beer. And then we got it on and it was so hot. And I was so myself, like the real sacred sexual creature, the erotic creature that I am. And I was so grateful to Susan and to the man I dated at the time. And to myself for being brave and asking for what I desired. So all the way back to what a great romantic evening would be, like just that. I'm like, I'm good. Of course, it'll get better from there. But yeah, just to receive with total surrender. I go and do and give so much. So many of us do. That to actually have a sanctuary of safety to let go and be adored, treasured, cherished, honored, oils or creams and then to be made love to. Yum, yum, yum. And then I think I just want to stay in bed. Like we could have like takeout. We could just, I don't know, have appetizers in bed. We could just have tortilla chips and a beer. I don't care. I love filet mignon and my sauteed mushrooms and my incredible glass of amazing like opus or something like that. Like I love quality. I'm an art history major. So quality art would be that food or wine or beauty or restaurants or hotels or like a restaurant that's built into nature so elegantly. Like I love all that. And I'm also a simple gal. I love like burger in the back of a pickup truck with some pillows at sunset. Like that makes me happy too. But those are some ideas of what an ideal romantic evening would be for me. So here's my request. I want to see a lot of comments underneath this video. I want to see what would be an ideal romantic evening for you. And then I also want to challenge you. Ask for it now. You're like, well, I'm single, or ask the universe. I'm in a relationship. Well, I don't know. Maybe they'll think. Ask. And ask by saying, it would delight me if. I would love it if. You would be my hero if. I would be so juicy if. I think I might actually surrender for the first time if. Be willing to be brave and ask, okay? And then tell me, because I want to know all the details. That turns me on too. Any way that we can ever support you, be it our top 5 mistakes that destroy a conscious relationship, download that now. Whether that's our intimacy blind spot assessment quiz, take that now. All those links are below. Or whether it's time for you to talk to somebody, you know, I'm ready. I'm ready. This is my year for a soul-shaking intimate relationship with myself, because I know that's going to be what it's going to take to create it on the outside. Or my relationship, I don't know if I should stay or go. How can I navigate this? Or this is my relationship and we need some help. We can't quite get past this elephant in the living room. We've tried everything. We need support. Any of these reasons would be wonderful reasons to reach out to Natalie, my intimacy success advisor, for an intimacy blind spot breakthrough call. AlanaPratt.com/connect. The link is below. We're here to support you. We have wonderful programs like Heartmates, online curriculum, live conscious connection calls. We have group coaching. We have private coaching. We have retreats. This is what we do. And everybody in my company, we all do the work. We're all brave. And none of us ever think we've got it all together or we ever get there. We're all vulnerable. We're brave. We're honest. We're real. And we're a very, very safe place for you to evolve into the next level of your most authentic, delicious self. So I don't know, I feel kind of sexy right now, but I really appreciate your questions. So thank you. And I love you with all my heart.